Hello world, back in the motorcycle shop working on my favorite bike, my 1972 Norton Commando 750 Combat. Putting a new rotor and stator on it. What had happened, I posted a short of it, but the sprocket on the engine sheared off the key and was on there, cattywampus. Anyways, it interfered with the stator and rotor and all that. And there's a whole story about why that happened. I believe it was from when I was on a motorcycle trip. My sleeping bag came loose and came in, got sucked in through here and wedged in the swing arm, and it locked up the engine and killed the engine. And I was going about 65 in a turn when it happened, and fishtailing all over the place. Kept it under control, but I suspect that's when it happened. Anyway, so I got a little kit from Colorado Norton Works. Got the rectifier. It's got the rotor, all the any kind of connections I need to make. It has all that stuff. New stator. The good thing about getting it from Colorado Norton Works is they, as in when I say they, I mean Matt. He lathes. He throws the rotor on the lathe and takes a little bit of material off there because these newer ones don't quite have the tolerance that you need. So that's a tapered fit on that front engine sprocket, so you want to seat it on there, but also make sure you're not going too far and getting up against the inner primary case. I cleaned everything with gasoline before I put it back in there. The inner sprocket here on the clutch hub, it's definitely got some wear on it, and you can tell it when you're riding the bike, when you're trying to get it to go into first. It likes to hang, but other than that, it still works fine. So it's got a few more rides left in it yet, but that will need replacing at some point. Let me show you guys. Let me bring it in here. You can see how worn that clutch hub is. The outer one is fine. It's just the inner one's got some wear to it, but still works fine, except for it likes to give you some trouble going into first sometimes. But it's storming bad here. I'm sure you guys can hear it. I got the clutch plates all cleaned up. Check out the storm right now. Oh yeah. All right, so putting the clutch plates back in, you want to go friction, steel, friction, steel, friction, steel, friction. All right, now I'm going to get the compression disc, get that cleaned up and installed. Hopefully y'all can hear me over the rain, but so I got the clutch hub nut on and solid blade here. Maybe. Got the spring compressed. Let's need to clean the short clip real quick, and we'll get that installed. make sure that clip is sitting in there all the way. There's a lip in there that the circlip fits in, and you want to make sure that's in all the way. It's got a good bite. All right, it's the next day. Ran out of time last night. I'm dying of the heat right now. I just got done with a little summer skate sesh. But I put a new gasket in, and I got the spacer for the rotor in. I got 2 shims on here. I don't know what size they are, but they've been on here since I've had the bike, so I use them anyway. But you put the spacer in, you want the recess facing out so that you have room for the rotor key. That goes on there like that. Let me find my new rotor key, alternator rotor key from Andover Norton. Ordered this stuff, you know, it comes from England, and it got here surprisingly fast, which is nice. All right, so here's the new rotor. You got the timing marks outside there. I get these there we go. All right, so that's on there. Then you get the funny nut. Don't forget the washer. So I gotta put the foot pedal on, put it in gear, hit the rear brake, and crank her down. Be right back. So here's the tricky bit. Hitting the rear brake. I think it's like 70 or 80 foot-pounds of torque. But I usually just really give her a good crank on there. I've never had any issues. And I know there's a million Norton owners out there that we all have our own way of doing things, and we do a lot of the things the same way, and some of the stuff we all do differently. So this is how I do stuff. Doesn't mean this is how you have to do it, or that I'm advising you to do it this way. But you do want this facing out in like the 5 o'clock position. Looks like, just eyeballing it, it looks like it's real tight on the, how I'm looking at on the right side, and plenty of space on the left. But I'll get my feeler gauges out. I think I was supposed to have 0.008 all the way around it. And I'd like to have at least 0.012. But yeah, let me check. I'm gonna get my feeler gauge. It's actually really good. It's a little tight back here, which I'm want to, the excess slack I want to put over here, just, you know, so that's the way all the forces are going to be pulling. But that's where it's the tightest. It's right down here, in like the 5 o'clock area. Man, those mosquitoes are getting me. Maybe just a little bit. And I know people say you can waste the studs, or you can, you know, open up the hole on the stator itself. I don't like that, because then you have slop in here, and we all know how much these old parallel British twins vibrate. Yeah, I like just a little kiss with the hammer, soft mallet. It's better, but look how freely it turns there. And then right here, it gets tight. Okay, so I'm using .012, and I can spin it all the way around. And then what you want to do is spin the motor, you know, a quarter turn at a time, and just check again, check a million trillion times. Torque goes down evenly. I think it's like 15 foot-pounds, something like that. And then I've just been turning the motor and checking it. You can see it spin all the way around it. That's what .012. But I'm pretty happy with it so far. I don't know how it could be any better. Keep checking, keep turning it, and then I'll get you guys back out for the next part. So I'm pretty satisfied that it's got plenty of clearance all the way around in all positions. That's .012 feeler gauge. So next I gotta put the little grommet in here and snake these up. Snake these up through the case and get into the wiring. Fun start getting that grommet in without damaging it. I know somebody out there has like the perfect method for doing this, and they should comment and leave that for the rest of us. So I got the grommet in. We got those cranked down. Got the wiring coming out. We'll take out the old regulator, wire in the new one. I've got to get a new battery for it. That battery's still good, but it's old. All right, hello world. It's the next day. I had to stop because I had to get a new battery anyway. But this is the battery I went with. It's AGM. And if you're interested, there's the part number right there. And what I do to secure it, which I haven't done yet, but I put super strength double-sided tape, or molding tape really, on the bottom of the battery, and just put that to the tray. What I've always done, I've had this bike 8 years and I've never had an issue with that. I am gonna add some oil to it and kick her over. Got the power. It's been a long time since, well, not a long time, but this bike hasn't been started in 2026. So I'm gonna put some oil in it, and then we'll see if we can get it. Success. Man, this bike sounds so good. I guess I know my first stop is the best. But you can see them. Right. And that noise we're hearing is just the rattling on the Stator. I'm happy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. The goal is to get to 125 million subscribers by the end of the year. I think I'm about halfway there. So if you can like and subscribe, that'd be great. Thanks. Bye.